Hey, what's going on? This is going to be a review of the ninth anniversary show for Ring of Honor, the internet pay-per-view. Now, I'll probably say you could argue this as being the weakest internet pay-per-view to date. However, I still thought it was great, though. I think you could argue that this was better than some of the other ones. You could argue that this was better than Final Battle 2009 and possibly even better than Glory by Honor, Glory by Honor 9. So it was still a good show, but I think people have to keep in mind that this is pretty much a storyline show to a degree. Um, a lot of these matches were kind of not necessarily matches you want to see on a pay-per-view. But I think the thing we have to realize is that Ring of Honor has three really big shows coming up. You got Manhattan Mayhem 4 coming up, and then you got the two Atlanta shows for WrestleMania weekend. So I think a lot of the stuff. A lot of the good, matchups, and a lot of the intriguing blow-off stuff is going to be saved for those shows. So I think a lot of people just need to keep that in mind. And, the Homicide thing, obviously, they signed Homicide to, or no, they didn't sign him to a contract, but they brought him back into the company. From a financial standpoint, I think it's kind of smart to capitalize on his popularity, because he is a popular wrestler, being that he's from TNA, and a lot of people do know who he is. So, um, but yeah, so let's get right down to it. We had Colt Cabana and Davey Richards. These guys surprisingly opened up the show. I thought it was good. Like I said, it's a nice mix of styles, but still, I thought they could have done more here. I think with Cabana, he was doing like the comedy routine in the beginning. I was like, wow, they could do something cool with by playing off of this. But Davey could just snap and get pissed off at Cabana for acting like a jackass, and then boom, we have an ultra stiff match. It really didn't get that. It was kind of short, but at the same time, it was fun though. It was a lot of great wrestling here. I thought Davey stepped up to the plate, put on a good show. Um, Both these guys, they look great. I mean, as far as crowd reaction goes, and just like the execution, everything was fine here. I thought the ending was kind of abrupt. Just didn't expect it to end that quickly. Cabana actually tapped that to like a Fujiwara armbar. I was just like, I don't know. I thought this could have went a little bit longer, but at the same time, I thought it was good. They didn't really burn out the crowd, because sometimes if the opener is like match of the night material, it kind of has potential to hurt the rest of the card to a degree, which kind of happened at Final Battle during the first half. So, all right, next up we had the Prodigy, Mike Bennett, Steve Corino, Grizzley, Redwood, and Kyle O'Reilly, the Four Corner Survival match. I mean, the story of this match was the Prodigy, Mike Bennett. He's the guy that went over here. He actually got he got a lot of heat. A lot of people were booing him. He kept on jawing to the fans, like he kept on responding to him. Oh, look who can wrestle now, because on some of the previous shows, a lot of the fans were chanting, "You can't wrestle" to him. So this match is pretty much just to get him a big win. I mean, it was okay. It was pretty solid. Actually, Corino was over like crazy here, and his new babyface turn seems to be working out pretty well. But the match is kind of average. I'd probably give it 2.5, 2 3/4. All right, so let's move on to El Generico versus Michael Elgin. A lot of people were disappointed that Generico was put on this in this kind of match against someone that's really not that well known. But let me tell you something. Elgin looked very impressive here. He looked very violent. He came off very stiff. Just a lot of the things he did out there just came off 100%, legit. Like there was one spot in the match where he actually took Generico and just rammed him into the steel guardrail. It was just a very violent and vicious spot, and some other good spots in the match with Elgin. He looked very good. Generico, very reliable, as I said a million times. He's just awesome. I definitely think he should be the Ring of Honor champion before the year is over, and it was good stuff. Generico, I believe he got the win here. Then after the match was over, Roderick came out and they kind of ambushed Generico, kind of setting up another Generico Roderick Strong match in the future. So that looks great. I think maybe at WrestleMania weekend, you could possibly do a title change with Generico actually going over Strong. I think that's a huge possibility the more I think about it. So yeah, and then all of a sudden Homicide made the save, and then we got the Homicide Roderick Strong no holds barred street fight, and it was I expected more. I thought Homicide actually looked pretty good. The match was pretty fun actually. It had a very good crowd because this went on very early. So I guess they kind of thought it was a risky thing to do to put Homicide in the main event, which I think was the right call by not letting Homicide main event the show, because I think the crowd would have been dead for that match. But I thought they could have done more. This is a little bit too short. I mean, there was some nice table spots. They did a lot of good stuff with the chairs. It was a nice brawl, but I just thought these two guys could have done a lot more. I think there could have been a lot more spots and just a lot more holy shit type of things, and we really didn't get that. This is the one thing about this match. I'll give Truth Martini a lot of credit. I thought he played a great heel here. This is probably he just really shined in this match, and I thought the stuff between him and Homicide was just great. Good versus evil kind of stuff. And the finish was kind of weak, though. I just thought it was anticlimactic, and I just thought these guys didn't deliver. I just didn't feel fulfilled. I don't think they really gave enough. I don't know. I just think they. I just think the thing is they didn't have a lot of faith in Homicides, and maybe that's why this match was cut short. But I thought it was going great, though. So I just wish they had done more. Just very, very unsatisfying. All right, so we had MsChif and Sara Del Rey after intermission, and it didn't get a lot of time, but I liked it, though. I thought it was entertaining. It definitely made the card seem a little bit more fresh. I think adding the women on the show makes the shows a little bit more easier to digest. So I had no problem with it at all. Next up, we had the Kings of Wrestling versus Kenny King and Rhett Titus All Night Express. I thought this was really, really good, almost great. I just think this match could have got a little bit more time. I was really getting into it, and by the time it ended, I was just like, man, if this just went like 5 more minutes longer, this could have been awesome. But yeah, I mean, the great stuff between these two teams. I mean, they really rocked the house. They really brought life to this pay-per-view, and I thought Kenny King was the MVP here. I just thought he looked phenomenal here. Both those guys have improved so much, and I'm happy. I'm happy that they finally got the tag team title shot. They got a great ovation after the match. As far as the actual match goes, the main story here was that Kenny King was trying to avoid Hero knocking him out with the golden elbow pad. So that was pretty much it, and then eventually Hero did actually do it while Shane Hagedorn had the referee distracted. So but yeah, I mean, still a good match. I'll give it about 3 3/4. Kenny King and Rhett Titus. This is pretty much the turning point for them. If they ever become, a huge tag team in ROH, you can look back to this match and say this is the match where it all started, where they started gaining like a lot of momentum. And then, all right, so after that we had Eddie Edwards versus Christopher Daniels. This is my personal match of the night. I know maybe some people might disagree with me because the crowd wasn't like hot here, but they were very, very respectful. It felt like a big time matchup. A lot of people probably hate the booking of the overall match, but I think people need to realize that Daniels Daniels actually defeated Edwards 2 times already this year, and I think it would have been a mistake for Daniels to beat him cleanly a 3rd time. That's just not good business, especially with the rumors about Daniels going back to TNA. And then and at the same time, you have Eddie Edwards has his title shot in New York City coming up, so you don't want him to lose clean to Daniels again. And Daniels has his title shot in Atlanta. So, you got to keep both guys looking strong. So that kind of hurt the match that, you really didn't have a clear-cut winner. But the actual match was phenomenal, in my opinion. I thought you really got a combination of everything here. You got great hold for hold, counter wrestling. There was a great sequence with Edwards applying the heel lock, and then Daniels countered it into the Koji clutch. I felt like I was watching Angle vs. Benoit at WrestleMania X7. That's how good I thought the stuff was between them. I mean, Edwards is just he's the man right now. I mean, he pulled off he actually dove into the crowd over the guardrail. That was sick. He did some awesome suplexes. I mean, he was very, very stiff. I thought he brought the best out of Daniels. I thought Daniels looked solid. Okay, so Christopher Daniels actually got the first fall with a very, very unique looking pinning predicament. And then I think Eddie actually made Daniels tap out with the Achilles lock towards the end of the match. There was like maybe 2 or 3 more minutes left. And then it just got, and then there was actually another spot where Edwards actually did a Hurricane Rana to Daniels. And I think as Daniels was coming down, he actually busted his head by hitting Edwards' knee pad as he came down. He was bleeding from the head. I think he got a concussion. I think he was knocked out. I'm not so sure if this was legit or if this was just a way to cover up so they wouldn't have to wrestle 5 more minutes. I'm not really sure. But anyway, it was a great match. You know, it didn't have like a hot crowd where they were I mean, I would say that the fans are more into Eddie Edwards. Edwards had more fan support here. Um, but at the same time, like, it's not like they were going ape shit for either guy. But they were very, very respectful. It felt like a big time match. I wouldn't say it was as good as the HDNet match that they had. It was close though. I'm still going to give it 4 stars, and I thought it was good enough to be the match of the night. And next up, we had the main event. We had the #1 contenders dream match. We had Shelton Benjamin and Charlie Haas taking on the Briscoes. And I mean, really not much to say about this. I mean, you pretty much just expected a good athletic match. You know, it seemed like Charlie Haas and Shelton Benjamin were a little bit more over than the Briscoes. The Briscoes have a great track record, you know, in Chicago. So I think it was kind of fitting that they got the main event tonight. I mean, it wasn't like a match of the year candidate. I'll probably say it was a solid 4 stars. Some really, really good stuff in this match. Just a fun, athletic match. You know, Shelton did his, you know, jump when he jumped onto the top turnbuckle, did a double arm drag. That always gets a great reaction. Mark Briscoe actually did a plancha into the first row over the guardrail, which got a huge reaction. There was a nice counter to the Shelton Benjamin leap over Charlie Haas. And, you know, just great intensity from Haas once again. You know, he put his heart into the match. I thought Shelton looked great. He's just a tremendous athlete. And, you know, what can I say? I mean, it was, most people could probably say this was the main event. It was a great main event. You know, the Chicago fans gave them a standing ovation after the match was over. So, yeah, so that was the Ring of Honor's 9th anniversary show. Great show. I recommend everyone to pick it up. I mean, from top to bottom, this is probably very, very dull in comparison to, you know, a Death Before Dishonor or even the Big Bang or Final Battle. But I still enjoyed it, and I think some people need to keep in mind that it's just, you know, when you have 3 mega shows coming up, you can't do a whole bunch of blow-off matches with a whole bunch of hot finishes. So just enjoy it for what it is. That was the 9th anniversary show. All right, take it easy.